Hey guys, what's going on? This is Artemy on the Basilisk Craig server. This is my alt character. She's an archer. My main's Nigel Tufnell. He's a 60 Lancer. I just thought I'd have some fun playing a DPS for a while. Um, and while I was doing that, I thought, hey, I wonder if I can actually solo some of these instances. So I thought I'd give it a shot. This is the first one. Didn't bother trying to do BL. I'm trying to do SM here. Basically just going to show you how to solo it with an archer. I'm not sure if any of these tactics apply to any other characters, but this is how you do it with an archer. It's not too bad, actually. It's actually pretty fun. SM's not too bad an instance. It's a good challenge. If you're sitting there waiting in queue times for a long time, this can be a nice way to kind of pass the time a bit. And you get all the loot, which is cool too. So it's kind of a fun thing. It's really not that bad. You're going to watch me play and you'll probably say, geez, this guy sucks. Um, Again, I'm not claiming to be the best archer out there, just showing you how it's possible to solo SM. So, in order to solo SM, you can't just pour it in like you do with the instance finder. You're going to have to go to the entrance of the instance to get in. So, without further ado, let's do that here. I'll show you my equipment. Basically, I'm using the equipment from this instance, and I've enchanted it all like +6, so it wasn't too bad. Some of the crystals I'm using, definitely using a lot of hunter crystals for the mobs in the instance, and then mutinous when I can for the other mobs. Vigorous crystals on your armor, definitely need since you won't have a healer, and also on your weapon you want to make sure you definitely need a swift crystal um, because you're going to be kiting mobs around a lot. So some of the other supplies you'll want to pick up are some of the bandages. When you're out of battle, it takes a while to heal, so you want to make sure you get those. And you also want to make sure you get some healing elixirs. I don't bother with the potions because they're kind of expensive, but I just go with the elixirs and that works fine. And then I pick up scrolls of carving. You don't need it, but I find it makes it go a little bit faster. You can try scrolls of savage if you think those are better too. Anyway, you notice I just went in the instance. I'm running by every single mob here. You don't have Feign Death yet as an archer, but you have this nice ladder here, which basically just resets everything. So just run as fast as you can there. It's not too bad. There's not a lot of choke points that'll hurt you. So, all right, now's where you actually have to start fighting people. So, I skipped a lot of the battle. I'll just show you how to fight each mob, and then I skip all the rest of them, so you're not bored sitting and watching me fight the same things over and over again. So my general tactics are I use a lot of incendiary traps, close quarters when they get close, and breakaway bolt, and then also just my normal backstep. Sometimes I'll use penetrating arrow as well. With these ones, once you get rid of her minions, use it as a time to get some of your mana back. So just sit there and use your normal default attack. Close quarters works really well because it stuns her. But as long as you stay about 18 meters away from her, she doesn't really do too much. And you just kind of go left or right of her little frontal attack. The next set of mobs, you got the same girl. Now you have the guy here. I find the guy's a little harder. He seems to stay a little closer to you. So I try and take him out as fast as I can. Again, you can see I'm just kiting around using my traps. I use arrow volley, and then I'll just, again, try and take him out as much as I can. And then now that he's gone, I'll basically just use her to get some of my MP back. There's another one of those pair of mobs on the right. Kill her. There's another one of those with the girls with the minions. That's fine. Now your first boss. She's not bad. I always open up with poison arrow. Basically, your general boss fighting tactics. You want to get poison arrow stacked as much as possible, just because basically you're not going to be able to hit her all the time because you're going to be moving around trying to avoid a lot of attacks. So you got to have some way to do some damage on her, and poison arrow works really well for that. She spawns these minions. They're not too bad either, but you can't sit there and try and fight them in close quarters because, especially when there's a lot of them, and you'll notice I'll do that later in the battle, and it really takes a lot of your hit points down. You want to make sure you try and keep those up as much as you can just in case you get in trouble. So, yeah, just basically put down incendiary traps. Try and stack poison arrow on her when you can. Penetrating arrow is good if you want to use it too because that takes out multiple mobs. You'll see I actually left one alive here. I was kind of experimenting during this run just to see if I left one alive, if she'd actually spawn anymore, hoping she wouldn't, but as you see, she did. So, just take out all the minions when you can. You notice, again, I'm just using my traps, running around. As soon as it's off cooldown, I'll put another one down. There I got a little cocky and tried to do a little close quarters action, then a breakaway bolt, and you'll notice in that time it took, all those minions that hit me, it really took my hit points down. So that was kind of a bad idea to use one of my potions for that. Which you definitely want to keep using. Anytime you're kind of low on hit points, you want to keep your hit points stacked to the top. You notice I don't do that here, and I really should have, because later in the battle it gets me in trouble. So right here I should be using my healing potion to get my hit points back, and then I waited kind of long, and now I'm using it, and now I have to wait even longer for the cooldown next time. So I should have used it sooner. Anyway, again, you see I'm just using Poison Arrow, just the regular default attack on her. And then when these guys come out, I use Incinerator Traps. She's almost dead here, so I actually try and kill her first and then deal with the minions. Either way works fine, but I was getting pretty close to death here, so I figured I'd take her out first and then worry about all these little guys. Which, this are not too bad. So yeah, my general tactics is I like to use a lot of traps, then a breakaway bolt. If I can stun them with the close quarters, that works really well. But generally, I just try and use my traps. So there I used a bandage to get my hit points back. This one, the mage, is actually the one that does most of the damage. The lancer's not too bad because, he's once he gets stuck in his attack animation, he kind of just does it. So you can easily dodge his attacks. But the mage, the bolts will always come after you. Like, you can't dodge those. So try and take them out first if you can. Then what you can do is get some of your mana back on the Lancer. These are really easy. You just basically, they're super slow, so you just use traps. Honestly, I just use this to get my mana back before the boss fight. And I also have on my armor slight heal on skill hit, so I also use them to get some of my hit points back here. Charm up before you fight them. Make sure you got a decent amount of stamina, and then get your scrolls stacked. This one I put down a stun trap after my incinerator trap, trying to lure him to me, hit him with the incinerator, then stun him. This guy's kind of hard. What I find with this guy, again, you want to keep your poison arrow stacked on him as much as possible, but it's hard to kind of circle around him. So what I find the best thing to do is kind of wait till he comes straight at you, then jump straight back from him. And again, you see I just use poison arrow, some traps here. As soon as he comes at me, I'll try and circle him if I can, but if he gets kind of close, what I want to do is basically just turn 180 degrees away from him, right, like I did there, and then just jump backwards. And that seems, in the time it takes for him to register that it's a close attack, you can jump behind it because most of the attacks are frontal. So once he registers it's a close attack, he's going to go straight at you. So if you jump straight back, that's the quickest way to get around it. So again, poison arrows, traps, and just your default attack. You don't want to do anything that takes a really long time as far as animations go, unless you see him actually move like that. And that's when I try and throw my poison arrows in there. Because if you get stuck in animation, he gets close, and he does hit you pretty hard. So that's why you want to make sure when you're actually doing them, make sure he's actually stuck in animation. Okay, so I killed him. I went and jumped down the hole here. These guys, unfortunately, you have to clear the whole room because otherwise when you go fight the other boss, they all come at you and yeah, you can't win that battle. So you got to clear all these guys. The Zerker is the hardest one, to be honest. He does this attack with his axe where his axe lights up, and you see it right there. I know I have it in fast forward mode, but it knocks you down almost every time. And then he does it again, and it knocks you down. So you keep getting knocked down, which makes it real hard to fight. So I try and take him out as quick as possible. I don't worry about the witch here. She's super easy. So again, you saw the attack there. It knocks you down all the time. So when you can, try and get away from it, but he's tough. So again, traps, penetrating arrow, radiant arrow is all good for that. Now that he's down, she's easy. If you stay about 18 meters away, her attack doesn't really get you. Try and just go left and right of it anyway, just to be safe. And then she'll, every now and then she'll do that little red circle on the ground. Real easy to get away from. And then just take her down. Anyway, I killed all the guys. They're all the same pairs of guys right there, so I didn't bother boring you with the details. But you do have to clear that whole room. These ones are easy. If you stay more than 16 meters away, their discs at you actually can't hit you at all. So what you want to do there is just, again, use it as an opportunity to keep your mana high, keep your hit points high, and again, take out the other side. Those guys, again, same as the other room. You do have to clear this whole room except for the mages at the end, which I'll show you. These guys are kind of hard too. Again, they're firebolt. You can't dodge it, but it doesn't do that much damage to you. The biggest thing that does the most damage with these guys is that circle on the ground. That'll really hurt you. And I can't remember if it stuns you or not, but you definitely want to stay out of that when you can. So again, you're just kiting around. Don't go in those glowy balls; those hurt too. Use your traps when you can, and just use your normal attack. I mean, your normal attack's relatively powerful. I think I have attack speed stacked in my bow once, so that helps too. Again, you can see same type of guys. You notice I cleared the whole room. It's all mages, the lancers, and berserkers. So it's the same tactic before. You notice all 5 of these mages are behind the statue that you kill to get the last boss out. You don't have to kill those ones. They won't attack you. So what I do, I run back here. I put a little fire down. You notice this whole instance is taking a lot out of me, so I got to get some stamina back. Showing you some of my glyphs here. I glyphed Incinerate Trap because you use it all the time. Poison Arrow, you want to make sure you glyph it so that it basically has a long duration, because that's what's going to be doing primarily most of your damage, so you got to leave it stacked. You kill it, you run back, just like you do with the group. You run back into the room over here. You notice he's coming at me. This is where I just lay down a few traps just to get some quick little early hits on him. But again, this guy was hard. This took me a while to figure out how to beat this guy. The secret to him is you have to stay within about 5 to 7 meters, because that registers his close attacks, which you notice it really takes him a long time to set him up. So you have a lot of time to get out of the way, and I just circle him. Also, he tends to jump over you then, which is good. If you go any farther than that, he does a fireball attack, which knocks you down almost every time, and he keeps doing it, and you basically you get killed really fast. So 5 to 6 meters, it's going to kind of scare you because it's really close. But again, his attacks are so slow, you have plenty of time to get out of the way, and then you just stack Poison Arrow, do your regular attack. If you feel bold, you can do some other ones. Here, my internet connection super lagged out. So you notice I come back and I'm in the heat of battle and I lost a lot of hit points, so that kind of sucked, and geez, I almost died. So, got my potion up. Again, just real close to him. Alright, now the best part with this guy is he gives you a break. So, when he runs back, you run back to your fire. You're out of combat now, so use one of your bandages to get some of your hit points back. And if you have a potion on cooldown and need some hit points too, use both, so you really heal your hit points while he's gone. Now he's back again. You notice I'm trying to stay really close. He sets up his attacks. I just move to the left of him. It's really easy. Then once I'm to the left, I can hit him with a couple shots. I can also restack my Poison Arrow. That wasn't so good. Don't worry about if he jumps and he hits you, because that actually doesn't take off as much as you think. The things that take off the most hit points are basically his attacks you see right there, and that's why I'm dodging those. But if he does his little jump thing to try and get close to you, most of the time he goes over you, and if he does hit you in the process, doesn't hurt you too bad. Just use a quick back step to get a little bit farther, then get back in that little sweet range, which is about 5 to 7 meters. It feels really close, and it feels like you're going to have a lot of problems, but believe me, it triggers his close attacks, and you can't beat him with his ranged attacks, or at least I couldn't. So again, he's going back to summon his minions, so you just wait here, wait till you're out of combat, then go ahead and get your bandage on and get all your hit points back, and then go ahead and lay down a couple traps. You get some cheap quick hits that way. Again, Poison Arrow, you see once I dodge his attack, that's usually a good opportunity to throw your Poison Arrow out there, because he's stuck in animation, so you'll have time, because your Poison Arrow is kind of a long animation too. So now that he's got a nice knockdown, that helps. I'll use Radiant Arrow then, because it seems to do the most damage, and I have time to charge it because he's knocked down. But most of the time it's just my normal attack. Poison Arrow, you see, perfect example right there, where he's stuck in his animation. Takes me a while to do Poison Arrow. I let him go. There's the Fireball attack I was talking about. You see, it knocks me down almost every time. So that's why I just try and stay close to him. That doesn't do too bad. His little spin around thing sometimes. If you stay to the left or right of him, it doesn't do it as much. If you go behind him, it'll trigger it more. Now it's kind of the sweet spot, because he's lower than 25%. He starts falling down on his own, which gives you some free time to hit him. But he also goes and summons more of his brood. I don't know what they call it. But either way, it gives you time to heal up. So here he comes back again. Trigger his attack. Poison Arrow. Pepper him with your normal attack. Poison Arrow again. Try and keep it stacked as much as possible. It takes off like 2,500 every 5 seconds, which, is pretty decent. And then just use your normal attack there. He's falling down again. So triggers attack. Poison Arrow. Throw in a little Radiant Arrow if you get time. It depends on how comfortable you feel doing that kind of thing. But conservative play is just poison or mega attack. All right, there's everything. I get all the loot to myself. Woo! This took me about 40 to 45 minutes to finish, which is about how long it takes when you do it with a group anyway, because they have to clear the whole rooms. Um, so it's, you know, you can do it all yourself pretty easily. Also, it's a great way to get XP, if you're tired of just doing quests, like I was. Um, you can. I was doing this at level 30. You can probably do it at level 28. It just might take you longer, but I mean, you get great XP for all your kills. Um, so it's a great way to get XP too. So that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned next time. I'll show you how to do CR next with my archer.